our examples. 3x squared minus 8x plus 4 equals 0. So when we factor this, we say 3 times 4, this is going to be a times c, so 3 times 4 is going to be 12. Negative 8 is still negative 8, and we have to look at 3x and 3x, because we have 3x as our coefficient, so we're going to have 3x and 3x. Then we need two numbers that add to negative 8 multiplied to 12, so that's going to be negative 2 and negative 6. 3x over negative 2 can't simplify, but 3x over negative 6 can simplify to just x over negative 2. That's because 3, 6 simplifies to 1/2. So that's just the reasoning behind that. So given these terms, we can say that we have 3x minus 2, notice that's 3x minus 2, and x minus 2. Because that's the simplified version of this, x minus 2. So our terms are 3x minus 2 and x minus 2 is equal to 0. So when we actually solve, we say 3x minus 2 equals 0, 3x equals 2, x is equal to 2/3. Well, negative 2/3, sorry. Oh, sorry, no, 2/3, I'm sorry. All right. Then evaluating the last function, we have x minus 2 equals 0, so x is just equal to 2. So x is equal to 2 and x is equal to 2/3. All right. The next example is going to be x squared plus 4x plus 5 equals 0. And so here you can't factor it, so you'll have to use the quadratic formula. So x is equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared, that's b squared, minus 4 times 1 times 5, all over 2a, which is going to be just be 2. So that's going to be equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16, that's 4 squared. 4 times 1 times 5 is minus 20, all over 2. That's going to be equal to negative 4 divide negative 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 all over 2, which is going to be equal to, and so the square root is going to be equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of, and I can factor out this negative 4 to say negative 1 times 4, which is going to all over 2, which is going to be equal to negative 4, and the square root of negative 1 is I, so plus or minus I, the square root of 4, all over 2, which is equal to negative 4, and then the square root of 4 is 2, so you can bring out that 2, plus or minus 2i over 2, and then you can divide each term by 2, so they're going to be equal to negative 2 plus or minus I. So our solutions will be -2 plus I and -2 minus I. So those are solutions using the quadratic formula. Some other things I want to note about simplifying radicals. Is that, let's take, for example, the square root of 60. You want to find perfect square factors. So that means square root of 60 breaks down into the square root of 6 and the square root of 10, which becomes root 2 times root 3 and root 2 times root 5. So root 2 times root 2, we can multiply those because these are the same. We have root 3 and root 5. So you can have root 4 times root 15, or its square root of 4 is 2, so this would simplify to 2 root 15. And for example, perfect squares, as a refresher. Let's give just some examples. 1 squared equals 1, 2 squared equals 4, 3 squared equals 9, so you get the picture. All right, that's solving polynomials.